Hello everybody and welcome to the first video in the series how to make tic-tac-toe. So we'll be making a tic-tac-toe game in this series. I have already created a tic-tac-toe.jl. So we got tic-tac-toe.jl. Let's start writing. Okay, so first we want our board, right? Now we have to create a 2D array for our board. Three rows, three columns. We got our board set up. Now if you print the board, right? If you just to print that board, okay. So let's just open a terminal, CMD, boom, right? So if you want to print that, I type in Julia. Okay. Okay, so we got something, right? It's an array and it's all in one row, which is not what we wanted at all. We want it to look like a board, right? We just don't want like one line. So we'll have to make our own function for this because the built-in print function won't work for us. Let's just define a function print board. Now this is a basic function that we'll be using throughout the game a lot because now I'll take a board because we need to print the board. Now we want to print the board, right? How do we go about printing a board? So you want to print the first row, then you want to print the next row, on the next line, on a new line, you print the third row, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to board, and then you want to print the first row, right? New line. That's why we're using print line instead of just print, and second row, and then the third row. So another thing is I just added X's and O's to the board so we can actually see what's going on. And yeah, let's just print our board real quick. Print board. Yeah, just run it. Now we got something, right? That looks good. That looks okay. We got okay. So let's see what's wrong here. We got these brackets. We don't want these brackets. We got these weird commas and inverted commas. We don't want that, right? So right now, board one is an array. It's printing the array itself. We uh we don't really want that since we want to like print each element separated by a space or like a line, the tic-tac-toe lines, the three lines that we get. So we want to make it like into a string, so that we can do by join, and that should work fine. Now we want to join it with like some a space in between, right? We can just put that in, and okay, let's just do the same for row 2 and row 3. So we got something, right? That looks quite a lot like a tic-tac-toe board, not gonna lie. Okay, so now we want a line, right? So after each element we're printing a space. Now instead of a space, it would be better if we had a line, right? Like something like this, and something like this, right? That would look way better. Let's just run that, and look at that. We get perfect like column lines. Now we want row lines too, right? So let's just print. So we can just put in a bunch of like minuses here. So let's print that, and that looks good too. But I don't like one thing here. The X is kind of touching the corner. I don't like that. So let's just I'm gonna get rid of that by just printing a space at the end at the start. Sorry. So so now that we have like a space after everything, we should have a space after the lines too, because then the lines will be coming out and that'll look weird. So okay, so it kind of put our board inside, and that looks good. This looks incredibly good. Not gonna lie. Okay, so one thing you notice here is that it looks kind of weird because you know the dash is directly above X and this dash is direct kind of like to the right of X. So let's just remove one dash, and that should be good. Okay, so one more thing you'll notice is that we have these huge gaps, right? Huge gaps. We want to fill them up. We don't want this. We want like a longer dash. If you can see closely, uh, if you look closely, there's a bit of white space between the actual dash, like the black part, and the end of the block. This monospace. This is a monospace font. That's why everything is printed in like these little blocks. You'll see that there's a bit of there's a small gap which we can cover, which we want to cover up. So for that we need a longer dash that kind of touches one end and the other end. That's called an M dash, EM dash. I got it copied over here. I'm not sure. You can Google it and you'll find the character, right? It's called an EM dash. I'm gonna just find and replace all the hyphens with em dashes. Let's replace all, and that should be good. Let's run that again. Uh, Again, it's called an em dash, em dash. Now, there's again this vertical gap, which we don't want. We can like cover that up with a plus or something. It's just, I'm guessing the position here though of the plus. I'm just randomly putting it somewhere. I'm not really uh, looking at it. If it works, then oh, it's in the right place. Okay, great. So there's still a gap even after putting the plus. So you want like a taller plus. So there's another thing, another character called this. It's like a tall plus. Uh, let's just insert that there. Whatever. Here you go. So there is a bit of gap, but I guess we'll have to do with this. That's the closest we can get to like an actual tic-tac-toe board. Okay, so we got our board function down. Print board. Okay. So now we can print the board. Let's now. Okay, let's print it with spaces for now, just for testing. So you kind of get the idea. I'm just gonna find and replace this thing. I don't know if you can use like, yeah, there we go. So let's print the empty board. Now note that I'm using spaces. If I don't use spaces, right, just see what happens. Oh, I can't really replace spaces, can I? Because then you'll replace all these spaces. You know what? Oh no, it'll replace these spaces as well. We don't want that. I thought I could find and replace it all and kind of make my life easier, but nope. We'll have to do this manually. Okay, so we got all the spaces removed. Let's see. And as you can see, as expected, our board looks terrible because it's all fragmented. Before we knew the length of each character, it was this, but now we don't know. It's an empty character, so we don't really know the space. So to make it like a constant character length, we just put in spaces. So we got our board function down. I'll see you in the next video. The code that we wrote here in this video, 13 lines, not a lot, but we're getting there. Okay, so the code is in the description. The final product is also in the description. Check that out, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.